going to take the lug nuts off, use a 19mm socket. Remove the wheel. Take a 19mm wrench, loosen up the jam nut. That's good. And you want to take the cotter pin out if there's a cotter pin in there. Pop that off. This one's pretty rusted. Take a 19mm socket. Tap that on. And take the nut off. Now there's many front end tools you can use to remove the tie rod from the knuckle. If you're just doing the inner tie rod, you can give it a little tap right here with a hammer. Hopefully that'll loosen it up, or using one of those tools. If you're replacing both, then it's not going to be a big deal. You can just hammer on the end of these threads, or use a punch and then hammer it. Just like that. And it didn't even damage any of the threads. But if you just hit it on the end of it, it could damage the threads, so you don't want to do that if you're going to reuse the tie rod. Now take the tie rod off. Count the threads when you take this off, so that when you put it back together, it's close to where it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 13, 14. Now I'm going to use some locking pliers on the inner tie rod. We'll take that nut off. Use a 19mm socket. Take this clamp, use some hose clamp pliers, and just slide it off. Then there's a clamp on the inside of the boot. I'm just going to take a straight pick, and right where the clamp is secured, just get in there and try to spread the clamp a little bit. Sometimes you can reuse the clamp afterwards, otherwise you can just use some wire ties and that'll work just fine. I can twist it a little, then I can see this a little bit better. Just give it a tap, try not to break that hose, or pinch that hose. Just try to slide it off, just like that. And slide the boot off, just like that. So as close to the inner tie rod as possible. I'm going to use some locking pliers. Put it on the side of the steering rack itself. And then I have to use some adjustable pliers. If you have a specific tie rod tool, inner tie rod tool, you can use that. And I'll just loosen this up, holding the locking pliers. And it comes right out. Just going to take a little grease, just put it right in that location where the boot is going to go. You can put a little thread lock adhesive on those threads and line it up. And to tighten this down, I'm going to use a tie rod tool. Just slips over. And make sure you have the locking pliers on there and snug that down. I take the boot, slide it on. Right where you greased it up. And slide the other part on all the way. And then again, if you don't have a clamp, you can use a wire tie. Otherwise, just tighten up that clamp. Just pinch it, tighten it up. That's good. Now take this clamp using hose clamp pliers And slide this on. Just get it in position and let it go. That'll be good right there. Put the jam nut on. Now take the outer tie rod and count the threads. So 1, 2, 12, 13, 14. That's where we were. Slide it in position. Slide it up there and then get the nut on. And I'm going to torque this to 20 foot-pounds. And if it's not lined up with the hole for the cotter pin, just tighten it up a little bit more. Take the cotter pin, slide it through, and just bend it over like that, and you just trim the excess. And snug up the jam nut. If you can torque it, you want to torque that to 65 foot-pounds. That's good. Reinstall the wheel. Put the lug nuts on. Now we're going to torque the lug nuts in a cross pattern to 65 foot-pounds. I'll just go around again, double check. After you're done performing this job, you want to bring the vehicle to a local shop to have it aligned so you don't have premature tire wear.